Tommy Richman's team aims for rap Grammy.
They're throwing up signs in the video. On the hook, he says, I ain't never rep a set, baby. That's hip-hop slang. That's street slang. You know what I'm saying? That's gang slang. But
I'm really talking to you, niggas. I hope that you accept me to a certain level, because I'm about to leave y'all as soon as I get a little money. Don't put me on no box unless that box got a Grammy in it.
DIY.
Oh, DIYers, just when you thought the Tommy Richman saga and story was over with, when he decided to randomly jump. Who's Tommy Richman, by the way? Oh, yeah. $1 Million Baby, the artist, the white artist, the Caucasian artist, who decided to, unprovoked, get on Twitter and say, I'm not a hip-hop artist. In case anybody was wondering, I'm not a hip-hop artist. And it was met with backlash from folks like, shout out my guy DJ Head, who was like, okay, if you're not a hip-hop artist, then hip-hop radio should stop supporting you. And he was like, wait. What had happened was, like, I like y'all money. I mean, what I meant to say was, I'm not just a hip-hop artist. I'm a singer. Okay, cool. That was the clarification. But then Tommy and his team did something that contradicted that. Here in this video by Rob Markman, shout out my guy Rob Markman, he says Tommy Richman's team aims for rap Grammy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Despite hip-hop artist controversy. I just know you lying.
welcome back. This is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Rob Markman. And right now it feels like Tommy Richman and his team is playing in our faces, all right? Yesterday, the Hollywood Reporter published an exclusive story on their website. The headline read, Tommy Richman's $1 Million Baby will compete for rap Grammys. So according to the report, Tommy Richman's team submitted his single $1 Million Baby for consideration in the Best Rap Song category and the Best Melodic Rap Performance category for the upcoming Grammys, all right?
I don't want your hip-hop title, but I'll take your hip-hop. I'll take your rap Grammys. I'll take your rap money, but don't put me in no box. Don't put me on no box unless that box got a Grammy in it.
We'll have to wait and see until November 8th when the nominees are announced if the song will be in contention to actually win any of these rap awards. But the news just comes 2 weeks after Richman tweeted that he is not a hip-hop artist, all right? I did a video on the whole thing. There was a tweet, and then there was Tommy Richman's exchange with DJ Head from The Bigger Picture with Elliott Wilson and Jeremy Heck. So Tommy Richman had just unprompted, and maybe there was something going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about, and he kind of went to Twitter to vent. We don't know what prompted it though, but he went unprompted and said, I'm not a hip hop artist, was basically his tweet. So DJ Head responded and said, so every hip hop station playing $1 Million Baby and Devil Is a Lie should stop today. Thanks for the heads up. Glad I got the PSA before I did my radio mix. Now I have 2 open slots. What should I play? No one is bigger than the culture. So that was DJ Head's response. Sorry. Richman later clarified his words, writing, he said, I'll say again, I'm thankful for everything. I'm saying I don't want to be boxed in. I grew up on hip hop, but I'm a singer. And then in another social media post to follow it up, he wrote, I meant to say I'm not solely a hip hop artist. So he kind of backtracked a little bit, which is fine. In my last video that I did on this subject, if y'all remember from 2 weeks ago, I gave him grace. Like sometimes, like, he's a young guy, might not have all the historical content, might not know why a tweet like just unprompted out of nowhere, I'm not a hip hop artist, is triggering, right?
Rob, I hear you, bro. I'm starting to feel like if it's not the artists, then it's got to be the labels that are taking advantage of the same thing that I feel like a lot of these corporations get away with, which is using shock, specifically minority shock, to trigger promotion and interest into a particular product, right? Especially when it's a topic like this where people know it's really a touchy subject right now. After who the hell doesn't know it's a touchy subject between culture, especially between Kendrick and Drake? I think they're doing this shit on purpose. The same way that H&M sat there, we ain't forgot about you, H&M, and had an advertisement that said coolest monkey in the jungle as a t-shirt on a small black child. The same one where you have, I think it was Neutrogena, or it was one of these hair brands. I don't want to put it on Neutrogena, but it was one of these hair brands that said, civilize yourself. And it was a side-by-side picture of a black man with an afro. And the other one was him being clean cut. And it said, civilize yourself. The same corporations that have these dolls that say racist shit, and then people rush out to go buy the dolls because they're getting ready to be taken off the shelves. Shock marketing is marketing. So I'm looking at people right now that are taking stances because they know that there's money on the other end of black folks being angry. And I feel like what I'm looking at right now with this Tommy Richman situation, it really feels like peculiar timing, because you got an album out and now here you are being talked about in circles of people who otherwise we wouldn't be doing no Tommy Richman stories. We wouldn't. But now here we are. Part of me feels like they look at it and say, I don't know, there might be more to gain than there is to lose in this.
You know, and I understand his feeling of, I don't want to be boxed in. I get that, you know what I'm saying? Especially in this day and age with artists who grew up in the playlist era where you could mix a whole bunch of music together and you could be more than one thing. Now more than ever, that's the thing for new artists. I get it. But there was just a better way. There was a better place that he could express that. So even my last video, I gave him grace, but I felt it was important to explain why in hip hop, why we would feel a way about a tweet, about a statement like this. And it was important to educate and give historical context because none of this exists in the vacuum. We've had a number of white artists come into hip hop, gain some traction, gain some momentum, some clout, some fame, acceptance, etc., whatever, only to denounce the culture, right? Just a few examples. Miley Cyrus did it after she dropped her Bangers album with Mike Will Made It in 2013. And that absolutely had hip hop elements and was marketed as kind of like a pop hip hop album, like Miley was moving into this hip hop space. And then she did that whole awkward twerking on stage with Robin Thicke at the VMAs and made everybody clutch their pearls. And then to turn around, and a few years later, she told Billboard in the 2017 interview that, and this is why she was promoting her pop rock country album, Younger Now, she totally changed her tune. So now she doesn't need the hip hop audience. There's not the Mike Will adjacency. There's not, she was collaborating with like Wiz Khalifa then and all of this. So it was definitely like playing in the hip hop space. So now she's on her pop rock country shit, Younger Now. And, she said, I can't listen anymore. That's what pushed me out of the hip hop scene a little. It was too much Lamborghini, got my Rolex, got a girl on my cock. I'm so not that.
She very well did make all those statements. I want to address this in the comments right now. Lavender Rain is asking, why can't we ignore this? Ignoring it is not informing the people who don't know any better. Ignoring it is not going to allow people who are not on code to get on code. We're not going to ignore it. We're using this opportunity because I feel like every time these conversations get brought up, it becomes more and more evolved. This is a more evolved conversation right now. And because of all of the conversation, the heightened conversation around culture, there are people who are saying, look, there's many different examples of this now. We can no longer say it's conspiracy theory. It's right here. Now, here's how we pivot differently from here. I love that the fact that these conversations are being brought up. I love that the fact that these people are not hiding anymore. They're not hiding anymore. So now, in this year of truth, let's call it all out.
And that's so reductive because that's not all that hip hop is. And she was talking about Kendrick's song Humble and how she liked the song Humble, but painted most of hip hop with that brush, that Lamborghini got my Rolex, got a girl on my cock. I'm so not into that. Like, insulting. After a few years ago, like you was all into that. You was doing nasty twerking on stage. And now it's like, I've outgrown that. It's almost like hip hop was a fad. It was a stop. It was like she went through her hip hop phase. For some of us, we don't go through a hip hop phase. It's just who we are. Post Malone came in the game with a song, y'all remember, it was called White Iverson. In the video, he had cornrows, he had a grill on, and just the title alone evokes a hip hop feel.
When I tell you, I was in the gym the other day, and you know how the gym will play music videos on loop, like different music videos? I seen a video of Post Malone doing his country thing, and I'm seeing all of his mannerisms change. and I'm seeing him doing this little country thing and doing this, and I'm just like, I can't help but feel like I've been bamboozled. I can't help but feel like, what the fuck, bro? This is insane. It's literally happening right here in front of my eyes. He's like, not a braid in sight. Oh, even the way he's doing the beard thing, like it was like the way he's cheersing. I was like, oh my gosh, you were never this white when you were rapping. My brain says this. I believe that the reason why artists like this make the pivot they do is because there does exist a ceiling for mimicking within the culture. There does exist, even for the person who's not mimicking, but for somebody who's paying homage to those before them that don't look like them. For instance, like an Eminem. If Eminem is the highest of heights, when you think about how much of a minority he is in that space in terms of being respected by hip hop, in terms of being seen in a lot of people's eyes as a part of that elite company, even as a guest in the culture, I think a lot of these artists are like, there's no way in hell that I could ever amount to that within here. When the best that they can be is a copy of it, I think a lot of them are making business decisions and saying, let me go use mainstream rap so that I can be a minority for a temporary period of time, go grab a Grammy off of it being a minority in that space, get more attention by being a minority in that space. And I'm talking about a white artist coming into this space, be a minority for a little bit. And then the moment that it's time to pivot, I can go back with the majority. And then I got the credit from hip hop. I got the accolades. It put me on the radar because I was a minority in that space. Now where I go over to being where I become a part of the majority in the other space, you get to enjoy the best of both worlds. I do feel like a lot of these artists, white artists, feel like there's a ceiling for them and they're making a business decision. I'm not saying that I agree with it, but I'm saying that is a business decision that they're making. That's insane.
Iverson embodied hip hop on the NBA court, even more so than Michael Jordan, who came before him. Michael Jordan famously didn't understand hip hop. Jordan was like the generation before hip hop. Like Jordan was listening, if you remember The Last Dance, to like Anita Baker before games. You know what I'm saying? But when Iverson came in, Iverson was the embodiment of hip hop on the NBA court. So when you name your song White Iverson, you evoke a certain feeling purposely. You know what I'm saying? He didn't call his record John Stockton. He didn't call it Steve Nash.
Because that shit wouldn't have landed.
those two guys were amazing, tremendous white point guards who were great. Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? But when you call your song White Iverson, you're going for something. You're evoking something.
Hold on. John Stockton. When I was a jazz, it was fun. No. Steve Nash. They don't got the same ring to it. That man chose to yell the elephant in the room thing from the beginning. Hey, I'm white. White Iverson. Y'all like that? Boy, and I was young. He decided to address the elephant in the room. I hate it. I hate how many of these artists use it so that they get just enough from it and then go on and do their thing somewhere else. It's just, it's insane. And then they shit on the welcome rug as they go out. Yeah, Steve Nash don't got the same ring to it.
So he knew what he was doing, all right? And we accepted Post. We were in the Post. And then he turned around 2017 and shit on hip hop too, when he said, if you're looking for lyrics, if you're looking to cry, if you're looking to think about life, don't listen to hip hop. There's great hip hop songs where they talk about life and they spit that real shit. But right now, there's not a lot of people talking about shit.
What?
Like, bro, that's not your place to say that. And again, you're painting with a broad brush. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking to cry, if you're looking to think about life, don't listen to hip hop. Yo, you sound crazy now.
Maybe Rob, he said that because he could never relate to the culture.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Hey, man, I'm just a white kid that love country music. Kind of like some rap shit. I think I can kind of rap too. Hey, you got some grills for me? Hey, Shaniqua, can you braid my hair? I think I might look like a little Iverson if I do it. I feel like they go to rap first because they feel like it's the easier entrance. It's an easier on-ramp than if they were to go where people look just like them by the thousands and tens of thousands.
Both Post and Miley later apologized You know what I'm saying? They took it back. You know, it was a bad look. But my point is this. White artists are allowed a certain mobility to move in between genres when black artists and hip-hop artists are not, right? You heard me talk about this before. Jay-Z was criticized by Noel Gallagher from Oasis when Jay-Z was headlining Glastonbury, because, you know, they consider that typically a rock and roll festival, right? Tyler slammed the Grammys after his Ego album won Best Rap Album in 2019. And while Tyler is a rapper, and we got to talk about his new joint too, video coming up on that. While Tyler is a rapper, Ego wasn't a rap album. But the question is, would Tyler have even had a chance in another category? I don't know. Historically, it seems like no. Like, you know, our black artists, our hip hop artists don't have that mobility. Beyonce, who isn't a rapper.
Nah, calling Post Malone hip hop candy corn is very accurate.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
That's crazy. He more like hip hop Kane's coleslaw. What's good with you DIYers, YouTube fam, and of course, independent artists alike? I got some really exciting news that I want to share with you. As many of you know, over the last 10 months, I have been doing some deep diving into going direct to consumer as an independent artist. And after reacting to so many different stories and having my own experiences, I've learned a lot over these last 10 months, and I would love to share it with you on my new Patreon for Curtis King TV. By joining the DIY community, you'll get early access to exclusive videos from this YouTube, free downloads, live Zoom calls, and even private Discord chats with me and the DIY community. Plus, independent artists, there are resources, tutorials, and so much more to help you level up your independent music career. So whether you're here for my content, for my music, or just to level up your own music career, I assure you this Patreon is for you. Head over to patreon.com/Curtis King TV and let's continue to show them what is possible independently.
But she's definitely hip hop adjacent, right? She didn't get a single nomination this year at the CMAs for her Cowboy Carter album. Like, our artists are not allowed that same grace, that same mobility, you know what I'm saying? To move in between genres and exist in different worlds. Like, it's just way harder for us.
I would make this argument too, and this is something that I feel like I haven't heard a lot of people speak on. When you turn around and you basically shit on hip hop and your experience as a white rapper in hip hop, there exists a rap is crap audience that cannot wait to show their support for your hate for that genre, or what they interpret as a distaste for that genre. Because I don't care how large hip hop, excuse me, mainstream rap is, how large hip hop culture is, there are still a lot of people out here who hate everything that it stands for. They hate the stench of it. They hate the people involved with it. They hate the things that, like, you talk to some folks, they'll really, really tell you how they feel about it. I feel like there's not only a large amount of people who feel that way, but there's also a lot of people, and I hate to say it about country, but in country, who spend a lot of money on shows and on buying music from country artists. So that means you're dealing with a demographic that has money and the ability to support you in a way that perhaps you didn't experience when you were a hip hop white rapper. Not a hip hop, when you were a white rapper in mainstream rap. So I think that there is a large, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of it because that's a whole other conversation. But when you saw like Zimmerman have people out here who are diehard fans of fucking Zimmerman, who were funding his efforts outside of the terrible Trayvon Martin case, who are paying this man that they didn't know. When you see that there are people out here who will fund that, you start to recognize there are people that will fund anything. There are people who will pay for anything and anybody. So why would that not include these artists that pivot and then shit on the welcome rug of hip hop? There's a lot of money to be made in that pivot. It's a lot of money to be made when you act like I'm not really one of them.
And that's what makes Tommy's declaration that he wasn't hip hop. That's what makes it so problematic. That's what makes it so triggering, because for us, it kind of feels like, oh, there's Post Malone all over again. There's Miley Cyrus all over again. And you could count, I mean, there's a ton of artists who move in and out of hip hop. White artists who move in and out of hip hop when they please. Hip hop definitely embraced Tommy, though he doesn't rap. $1 Million Baby played on Hot 97 all day long, and so many DJs supported. I use Hot 97 as a frame of reference because I'm from New York. That was our first hip hop station, our first 24/7 hip hop station. Shout out to Power 105 as well. Another hip hop station we have in 94.7 The Block. But Hot 97 was the first, in a lot of ways, represents hip hop for the city. And Hot 97 played $1 Million Baby all day long.
Sheesh.
DJ supported it. If you watch the music video, there's a lot of hip hop tropes in it, right? First of all, there's chopped and screwed elements in the beat. Like, it starts with a chopped and screwed element. They're throwing up signs in the video. On the hook, he says, "I ain't never rep a set, baby." That's hip hop slang. That's street slang. You know what I'm saying? That's gang slang. But you hear that in hip hop. The embodiment of that happens in hip hop. So when you start your song, when you start your hook, "I ain't never rep a set, baby," like,
I'm really talking to you, niggas. I hope that you accept me to a certain level, because I'm about to leave y'all as soon as I get a little money. I know you think that I am hip hop until I make a little bit of money. But when I make my Grammy, I'm leaving you just like I ain't your mammy. That's what the fuck's going on here. That's what's going on here. Well, it's a disgusting game. It's business, and it's partly up to us to be able to identify these things, which is why, Lavender Rain, I don't know if you're still here, we're covering this so that we can be better viewers of what's going on, because that's exactly what's going on.
that's not rock and roll. That's not country. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even Afro beats. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's hip hop. You know, he says in the song, he has another lyric, "I'm running up a check." That's hip hop slang. Like, it's just undeniable. Him and his team are throwing money, making it rain in the club. That's a hip hop trope, right? So when you see these in the video, it gives off a hip hop feeling. So people weren't crazy for accepting him in hip hop, embracing him in hip hop, even though he's not a hip hop artist. Again, you made creative decisions to use certain hip hop tropes. So you also can't get upset when now people are confused about what you are and what you represent. He isn't rapping. And to me, you know, I think this is common sense, but you don't have to rap to be hip hop. He's definitely leaning into hip hop in this song to some degree. You know, you can argue the degree into what she's leaning into hip hop, but there are hip hop elements in this song. Now, and we have examples of singing.
Well, what are the odds that he actually wins is a good question by David Jones. I think he goes on to cover this in his video, is that they just submitted. Now, everybody who submits gets to be nominated. They just submitted. They just submitted. So there's a chance that that song doesn't even make it into that category because of the other songs that, you know, fared well or fared better in terms of being more traditionally rap songs. But I would not be surprised if it found its sneaky ass way into that category. I would not be surprised because, once again, as Fly Science said, you know, why are we looking at CMAs and the Grammys for validation? Great question. Great question. But at the same time, we do know that this means something, especially in that industry that has a lot of us in it. And so when I see the way that they play with our artists, I just look at it and I'm like, I feel a responsibility, especially in this media space, to hold this up to a light, because when it happens, it's like you're losing your credibility every single time. Every single time. They know there's going to be an increase in people watching this year specifically because of Kendrick and Not Like Us. And they want all of that traffic that they can get. They know damn well they're not dropping that ball, because that'll be the final nail. That would be the final nail. If you give Tommy Richman, oh boy, they love money too much to make a mistake like that. They love money too much to make a mistake like that. I can't see it happening, but they have to, basically they have to determine whether or not it's going to, the submission is going to be seen as a legitimate nominee.
Who absolutely exist in hip hop but don't rap, right? Like Mary J. Blige is a singer, but she represents hip hop culture. Her music, the beats that she chooses to sing over. Ashanti is a singer, but she represents hip hop culture as well. In addition to, Mary J. Blige represents hip hop culture in addition to, by the beats that they use, by just the way they present themselves. Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. There's probably more singing on that album than rapping, but even when she's singing over Wu-Tang samples. That's a hip hop album. Like, there are hip hop elements on that album, absolutely. The late Nate Dogg, a singer. Nate Dogg is hip hop. T-Pain, a singer. T-Pain is hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Ty Dolla $ign, a singer.
Yeah, you might want to read that one a little bit slower there, Dave. The R&B by genre, but they're hip hop by culture, are hip hop adjacent. There's no way that you cannot say Mary J. Blige has not been part of some of the most legendary hip hop moments and has not contributed to some of the biggest hip hop moments as a culture. Not a rapper. I don't think he's calling him a rapper, but once again, he's saying that they are attached and aligned and contributors to the culture of hip hop.
Dolla $ign represents hip hop in so many ways. So what I'm saying is for Tommy's team to submit him for best rap performance, best rap song and best melodic rap performance, now you're taking up space.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Because 2 weeks ago, my man said, I'm not a hip hop artist. And he cleaned it up. He said, I'm not solely a hip hop artist. But you made that declarative statement. And for the Grammys, your team, your label, they have to submit your record and they choose where to submit your record. So submitting the record in the best rap song category was a choice. Submitting the record in best melodic rap performance was a choice.
Yes, it was.
And I think just 2 weeks after this statement, it like you're saying something. And first of all, you're taking up space. You're taking up space from a hip hop artist who wants to be in that hip hop rap category. Because let's say he gets the nomination. And again, the nominations won't be announced till November 8th. Let's say he gets the nomination. Then that's one nomination where an artist who is like proud to go outside and say, yo, nah, I am hip hop, white, black, or otherwise. Mm-hmm. Somebody who says, yo, I'm proud to be hip hop. I'm a hip hop artist. Yo, put me in these categories. Now you just took away a slot from somebody who really, really wants to be here. Now,
and look at this. Well, I think I'm going to conclude it there. But a Grammy is a Grammy is a Grammy is a Grammy. And when it comes to renegotiate his deal, when it comes to how much leverage he has when he goes to that table, a Grammy is a Grammy is a Grammy. A sold out show is a sold out show is a sold out show. A successful album is a successful album is a successful album. And they know that. I saw a quote here. Who was it this said it right now? It feels like stat padding. Tommy Tenderoni said, this feels like stat paddish. It does feel like that. But I think it's done on purpose. I think because if a Grammy is a Grammy is a Grammy, you have that on your belt. Who cares that it came at the expense of rap? I got a Grammy. But that's to me what makes it even that much more slimy. David Jones says, this makes me miss Mac Miller. Same here, fam. Mac Miller knew how to do it. He did it the right way. I'm going to make a quick pivot here, and I want to draw your attention to something that is an extension of an interview that we had not too long ago. To me, what Rob Markman is saying right now is part of the reason why I feel like we need an extension to these award shows of the category of rap itself, right? If you remember, I had a gentleman on here named Old School Ice Green, and he talked about how, first of all, the rap category as it is right now has way too many various artists that don't necessarily even make the same kind of rap, right? Even though it's underneath an umbrella of mainstream rap, some of those artists are by the tradition of hip hop, lyricists, MCs, all the above. And a lot of those folks get drowned out by who is more popular, but is telling you right there in front of you, I'm not a rapper. I'm a rock star, like a Lil Uzi Vert, or like a Travis Scott, who does many different genres, who just won the I Am Hip Hop Award at the BET Awards, which is crazy. But with that said, to me, that's even more reason why the categories need to be expanded. Let me draw your attention over to here. So remember, we had an interview with a gentleman named Ice Cold Green, and he was basically starting a petition, and he had been doing the groundwork of getting this category extended. Here it is right here. I'm going to send you guys the link in the chat. Well, that conversation is reaching another fevering pitch. Actually, one of the interview pieces that we did together is going viral right now. There are some artists that made some really, really amazing projects, and they should be highlighted, right? With that said, here's a petition here. And in this petition, Ice Cold Green wants to establish an adult contemporary hip hop as a new expanded category at award shows. Here's another category that would make it close to impossible for those who are trying to stat pad, as Tommy Tenderoni said. And it would also give an opportunity for people who should be highlighted to get their highlight. This would give an opportunity for award shows to recognize it as something that we should be using to award those artists that are in a different type of subgenre of hip hop, of mainstream rap, and therefore get their acknowledgement, right? So that we're not talking about an Ice Spice competing with a new release of a Jay-Z, which makes no sense at all. But they put us all in the same bucket, like crabs in a barrel. They put us all in the same bucket and they say, oh, that rap shit is the same thing. And it's not the same thing. It's a lot of nuance, a lot of differences. So here's how we do this and put our money where our mouth is at. Here's how we do this and actually make some practical decisions that could change things. So I'm going to leave this link here for you guys to go ahead and check out. Shout out to him because I know that through my platform, through sharing this through your platform, these are the kind of things that stop a lot of this weird ass activity. Griselda, yes, that's another group that I feel like would be right in alignment with a category like this, right? So, DIYers, those are my thoughts on that, man. Matter of fact, I didn't even stop on it. Tommy Tender, not Tim Tom. I'm sorry, Tommy. Wrong Tommy. Tommy Richman, bro. You're too early to be doing all of this extra out shit. You're not even sticking to the program of what other folks have stuck to who have done the culture vulture number, the culture vulture dance. You're not even doing the right dance moves right now. You're dancing too early. Chill out. What are you doing? No, don't chill out. Expose yourself. This is crazy. Why in the hell would you think that this is the perfect thing to do after you told us I'm not just, well, first of all, you said, first of all, I'm not a hip hop artist. Okay, cool. Stand on it. But you still want the Grammy. They will continue to use the genre as long as we allow them to. And I think this is where it stops. It's up to us. It is up to us. DIYers, those are my thoughts on this. You let me know what you think. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.